I'm a nutritionist. I work with women over 40 on fat loss. I've worked with clients on Mounjaro and other GLP-1 drugs, and here is what I think you need to know about these GLP-1 drugs. I'm Louise, a qualified nutritionist, personal trainer, gym owner, and I work with women over 40 on fat loss and strength training. Now, I've had clients on Mounjaro and I've had clients come off Mounjaro and similar GLP-1 drugs successfully. And I've also watched the conversation around GLP-1 drugs turn into an absolute shit show over the last year. One side of the fence are telling you it's cheating, it's lazy, you just need to eat less, you just need to move more, it's not that difficult. The other side of the argument, it's a miracle drug, everyone should be on it, it's the cure. Both sides, in my opinion, are completely missing the point. So, I wanted to record this video to give you my opinion as someone who works with women who take these drugs based on what I've seen work and what I've seen go catastrophically wrong. Let's start with when I think these drugs make actual real sense for people. If you're really, really overweight, and I mean significantly, not just carrying an extra stone or so, these GLP-1 drugs can genuinely be a game changer, a really useful tool for you to be able to start your fat loss journey. And here's why I think that's the case. So when you're heavy, like very heavy, exercise is harder, getting out of the car is harder, life is harder, walking is harder. Even losing 5%, 10% of your body weight can make so much difference to how well you move. So all your movement becomes easier, which then promotes more movement so you can do more. And once you've lost a bit of weight, going for a walk doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like something that you're actually capable of. So you start moving more, you feel a little bit more capable, and then consequently, hopefully, you start making better food choices because now you're starting to feel better. And that is a massive, massive upshot as far as I'm concerned. So GLP-1s can give someone enough of a head start that they actually start engaging with the process instead of feeling defeated before they've even started their journey. And I've seen this work really, really well with some clients who've got a lot of weight to lose. But here is where I think it can go wrong. So sometimes I think the dosages prescribed in the private sector are possibly too high. I am not a doctor, this is not medical advice, this is my opinion. So your appetite gets suppressed so much that you're not eating enough protein, not eating enough generally. Excuse me. Now I've had clients tell me they're living on a packet of crisps for lunch and a packet of crisps or a chocolate bar at dinner because they just don't fancy anything else. They don't want any more food. Now, that is not healthy fat loss. That is just starvation with a prescription. So yes, you'll lose weight fast, but you'll also lose muscle, and muscle's really important. So I think people forget that GLP-1s suppress your appetite, but they don't magically preserve your muscle mass and create a healthier body at the end of it. So if you're not eating enough protein and if you're not strength training, you will lose some muscle alongside of your body fat. How much remains to be seen, and everybody I think is probably different. But when you are a woman over 40, I promise you muscle is a thing you really can't afford to lose. So can you prevent muscle loss whilst taking a GLP? Yes, you absolutely can, but you have to be intentional about it. So what I mean by that is you have to make a point of eating enough protein. A probably rough ballpark would be 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Strength training 3 to 4 times a week, making sure that you're working hard and your training gets progressively more difficult. Not letting your appetite suppression turn into like just junk eating. Most people that I've met aren't doing this yet. They're taking the drug, eating whatever they feel like they can stomach, knowing full well that their appetite is suppressed and they're eating less, and watching the number on the scales drop down. And they think that's success, and it is to a point. But when they come off the drug, so they come to the end of their journey and realise they've lost 2 stone, but also they've lost a lot of muscle, everything feels a little bit harder and they feel weaker than they did before, that's no longer success, that's just weighing less. So one of the biggest issues that I've seen so far is when people stop taking Mounjaro, and I spoke to a lot of people about Mounjaro anxiety, what happens when you stop taking it? If you've been on Mounjaro for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, your appetite has been suppressed the entire time, you've probably not learnt to manage your hunger levels. So for simple maths, let's assume that fullness on Mounjaro is maybe 20% of what you would normally eat. And you're eating to full, and when you stop taking the drug and your appetite comes back, like, what happens then? So there is some research that says your natural fullness levels are continue to be suppressed after you've finished for a little while, so you're going to fight a little bit more. But if you've spent the entire time eating until you feel completely full instead of satisfied, and now your capacity for fullness is back to 100, 110%, you're going to be able to eat significantly more. And if you haven't built the skills to manage your hunger without the drug, you don't know what an appropriate portion of food looks like, and you don't know how to eat in a way that supports your goals without a pharmaceutical appetite suppression. So you're going to regain that weight faster than you would have otherwise. And I have seen people yo-yo on and off these drugs because they didn't learn how to manage their hunger properly in the first place and just relied on the GLP doing the work for them. So what I focus on with clients taking GLP-1 drugs is protein targets. So because you're eating less overall, fine, but you can't compromise on the things that are important for health. So protein and fibre. If your appetite is suppressed, protein needs to be the priority, certainly not crisps, not toast, not chocolates. Protein and vegetables, so fibre to keep your digestive system happy. Then strength training becomes non-negotiable, so 2 to 4 sessions a week at minimum. And if you're losing weight, you need to give your body a reason to keep hold of the muscle that it's got, especially women in our 40s. And lastly, building habits that go beyond the drug. So learning what portions look like, learning how to control your hunger, learning how to eat in a way that supports your goals without relying on medical appetite suppression. Because if you don't learn this while you're on the drug, what is going to happen when you stop? You go exactly back to where you started, except now you've also lost some muscle too. So I think the big overlooked question is, what's the long-term plan? Are you going to be on this drug forever? Are you going to yo-yo on and off of it for the rest of your life? Because that's what it looks like is happening from what I'm seeing. People losing weight, they stop taking it, they regain some weight, they go back on it, they lose some weight again, they stop, they regain some weight. And that to me doesn't feel like a solution. That feels like we've created a pharmaceutical drug dependency. And I'm not saying these drugs don't have a place, because they really, really do. And they absolutely change the game for some people to get them started in the first place. But if you're not using the time that you're on the drug to build the skills, to build the habits and the muscle mass that's going to support you when you come off of there, you're just kicking the can down the road and just pushing that problem further and further away. Oh, and one more thing actually, while I think about it. GLP-1s are being sold in the private sector to anyone and everyone. There are some regulations, but depending on who you are and who you know, you can get them most places. If you're a stone overweight and someone's offering you Mounjaro because you can afford it and they're going to make money from it, that's not healthcare. That is just sales. The NHS does have strict criteria, and they have that criteria for a reason, to stop them being misused, and because they can't afford for everyone to have them. But if you want to drop half a stone in time for a holiday, a GLP-1 drug is not the answer. And I suppose when you're using them for people who don't really need them, at dosages that suppress appetite to the point where people are barely eating, then that's where kind of problems multiply. They are a useful tool. So what I want you to take away from this, GLP-1s are absolutely a useful tool, particularly for people who are very overweight and really do need that kickstart to make exercise and movement and life easier. But they are not magic. You still need to do the work to get the results that you want. So you still need to eat adequate protein, you still need to train, you still need to build those habits so that you've got them forever when you stop taking this drug. And if you're on Mounjaro and you are living on crisps because your appetite is so suppressed you can't eat, you are doing it wrong. Please do it differently. Please do it better. If you're losing weight and you're not strength training at home, in the gym, wherever, you are potentially losing muscle alongside the fat that you're losing, and please don't regret it. You know, that muscle is important and you're going to need it. If you're not learning how to manage your hunger and your portions while you are on the drug, you will regain that weight when you stop. These drugs are designed to suppress your appetite, and they do not and are not designed to teach you how to eat. They don't build muscle. They don't fix your poor relationship with food. You still have to do the work. And if you're sitting there and you're considering them, talk to your GP, talk to a pharmacist. Don't be sold into a Facebook advert where it's an anybody free-for-all. Make sure you get them through a licensed pharmacy, not your hairdresser. Make sure you're an actual proper candidate for them. Make sure the dosage is appropriate and you're starting on a low dose. And make sure you build a plan for coming off them. And please, do not forget to go to the gym and train for strength and eat enough protein and fibre. Weight loss is easy. Building a body that is strong, capable and sustainable takes a lot of work. So GLP1's can help with the first part, but they're not going to do the second bit for you. Finally, if you're working on fat loss with or without a GLP1 and you want some good coaching that focuses on building a body that's strong and capable, not just smaller, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with me. And like I've said, I work with women over 40 on getting strong, getting fit and improving their nutrition, including clients who are on GLP1. You will never get any judgment from me for taking them. If you want some more honest, decent, evidence-based information that doesn't just tell you what you want to hear, subscribe somewhere below, and I will hopefully see you next time. Oh, also, if you thought this was helpful, please click the like button because apparently the YouTube algorithm likes it when people like our stuff.